Birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Don. Happy birthday to you. Happy 85th, buddy. Hey! Make a wish, brother.
And many more. I got it. Let me share a word, please.
Well, you want to blow out your candle first? Okay.
My wife and I will be married 64 years in August.
Wow.
And we started our journey back in 1952. And we started it before that, but we married in 1952. Being 85 tomorrow backs me up a little bit to when I turned 80, and I've told a couple of you this in the past, but on my 80th birthday, we all always get together for a big party of 28 of us now is our number as a family, and this is just a picture of us together on that occasion. But anyway, what I did for my family for the 80th birthday, having thought back through the years with my dad being one of 11 children, my mother one of 9, and growing up in Mississippi, and they moved to Memphis and found a job which was unbelievable during the 1930-31 years. But they gave my sister and I some really rich growing years and most wonderful family of all. But I was sorry through these years that of those 11 brothers and sisters and 9 brothers and sisters and all of the cousins and all of that there was never any written anything of about their lives. As we grew up, we'd go back to Mississippi for our trips, and they'd all come to Memphis over a period of time because 120 miles away, that was the nearest hospital. They'd come there to do the Christmas shopping. And so our house, growing up right on the outskirts of Memphis, 6 miles from downtown, on the edge of the city limits, we never knew who the people were, who the relatives were going to be there on the next weekend, because it was we'd have pallets, we'd have everything, because all of the kin folks were relatedly coming for all kind of reasons to Memphis. But all of that said, it caused me to, on my 80th birthday, create a document for all of my family. And I divided the 80 years up into 4 quarters of a football game. It was birth to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80. And so I entitled this document 20, 40, 60, 80, who do we appreciate? That was the topic, and so within I had given that, and the bottom line, the big words, was family. Well, in giving them those first 20 years and then the next 20 years, I would bog down in so many places, because if you've never done this, I challenge you to do it, because you have an opportunity to remember, and sometimes that's the hardest thing for us to do, but to remember the individuals, the people. I remember the first grade teacher I ever had. Her name was Mrs. Bomar, and I remember the first thing that I ever wrote on the chalkboard, that she scared me to death, asked me to go to the chalkboard and write, and stuff like that. So anyway, I provided 2 pages for each quarter, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and it was just liners, so that they could have some idea of me and the people, my family in my life for 80 years. Well, the 4th quarter was 5 years ago tomorrow. And so I named, after the 4 quarters, 80, I named it overtime.
What's coming?
Not sudden death.
We understand
why. So tomorrow I'll finish my the 5 years of overtime, and I'll be on Saturday night, tomorrow night, a dinner with my family and all, and I'll surprise them with that. But anyway, I would say that if you haven't ever done it, I'm the one that receives the most in doing something like that because of all of this. I remember the day I put my little coat over the bench in front of me and stepped out and went down the aisle to accept Christ. Wasn't an accident, intentional. Now, having said all that, the 64 years with my wife has been wonderful. And right out here in our parking lot, 3 years ago, she fell and broke her hip. And so I had the opportunity to take care of that woman. Now, I'd been assisting, I'd done everything, like a husband ought to do, but I said, Lord, she is the most precious thing in my life. And so I had the opportunity, never said a word about any of this in any way, but in my heart to God, thank you, Lord. And so I committed that the one person she's going to thank in these days is the guy that's right alongside her. And so it became a new experience for me. Well, that's a part of my writing in these 5 years, you see. The reality of God's blessings and goodness. Skip quickly to another point. Last night, if you sat, as I did, and listened and tried to imagine the things that were presented and Trump's finale and all of that, the one thing that was missing, and I said to my wife, I said, honey, I'm still not settled with this. The one thing that he, and they never said, he said, I will, and I can, and all of those things. But until somebody in this whole thing says, until we return to God,
Amen.
none of that can have any potential of what God intends for America. But until that becomes a part of this whole dimension of return or becoming great again and all of that, none of it goes back to recognize and realize that God created America that was great at a point. And so I challenge you to prayer. We've talked about it, Bill. Great prayer changes things. I think the last thing that Trump could have said last night was, and I want to challenge you with one more thing. We must become a nation of prayer and dependence upon God. Because I really believe we don't have a chance to be the best for God. We can be the best for Trump or some other dimension, but we don't have a slight chance until we put God in his proper place in America. And we can never be the light of the world until we share that light. So, having said all that, I thought last night.
Don?
Yes, sir. Please.
One of the speakers, and I don't remember who it was because I saw all 4 nights, talked about